How's it going, everybody? It's Monday now. Hope everybody had a great weekend. What is going on? We're live now here at Dev Slopes. It was like kind of a long but short weekend. Like I felt like it was kind of long, but then it's like Monday already, so it's like went by pretty fast. What's going on, Vivian and Kirill? Yuan and Boris, what's going on? Hey, Brett, what's up? We've got Mohammed and Amir and Katie. Is that what it is? Katie and Korid, Simidu. Yeah, I love Ronaldo. What's going on, everybody? How we doing, YouTube? YouTube, it always takes a minute to wake up. But we're streaming today on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. We're going to be answering questions about where to start as a beginner developer. So if you have questions about different technologies, programming stacks, maybe you've hit a roadblock, learning to code, be sure to drop those in the comments below. Mr. Say Kate asks, how are you? I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing really good. And probably because I got my riding lawnmower fixed. That was probably the most exciting part of my weekend / today was getting my my riding lawnmower working again. It's interesting, like the priorities you have, working out here. I moved out to the country, right? Because I'm a programmer, and so I can live anywhere that I want to, and I wanted space and peace and quiet. So I moved out here to the country, and now my riding lawnmower is like it's like my livelihood here. I absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. I use it so much to haul stuff around. Anyways, we could talk about riding lawnmowers and or coding. We could do either or, but I think maybe we should stick to some coding and shenanigans like that. So I'm gonna let's start out here with TikTok, and then we're gonna pop over to YouTube and then Instagram. What's going on, Christian? Welcome, and we've got Veek. I'll answer some of your questions here in a moment, but let's start out with some TikTok. Let's see what's going on here in the land of TikTok. Let's see. Do you accept people without experience? Absolutely. BT. I don't even know how to pronounce your username, but I'm just going to call you VT. Yes, 100%. That's what the DevSlopes Academy is about. It's designed for absolute beginners. Okay. I mean, we have students also that have some programming experience. You'd be surprised how many students that we have that have computer science degrees. And they end up at DevSlopes because they still need to learn how to code, and it's unfortunate that colleges aren't preparing people after 4 years of college and insane amount of money, and people still aren't ready to be successful in the industry. Where here at DevSlopes, it is a fraction of the cost, and people are landing jobs within a year, and they're making money already doing freelance work within just a matter of months. It's crazy. But anyways, before we get started, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jason. I'm a full stack developer here at DevSlopes, a web developer primarily working with the MERN stack, Mongo, Express, React, and Node. I flip and love it. And so I build internal tools, automations, all that fun stuff. And then because DevSlopes is a learn to code company, I have the pleasure and the honor of working with students every day, helping them learn web development. And so I work with students, help them learn how to code. I do project review. So I review their code personally and give them feedback on that. I have live weekly meetups where my students and I'll jump on a call, talk about tech freelance jobs, all that fun stuff. And then, much more. It's a really cool experience. If anybody wants to, looking for mentorship or coaching, I'd be stoked out of my mind. Personally, go to devslopes.com/apply. Let's see, VT. Let's see, sick. I'm applying as soon as I get my bachelor. No, VT, you should stop your bachelor's and just come to DevSlopes. Like I just finished saying, maybe you heard that is we have a lot of students who pay money and end up 4 years in a bachelor's degree, and they're coming here to DevSlopes because they still have no idea how to code. College, a computer science degree, is probably one of the most humanly possible slowest ways you could ever learn how to code. Like, it's ridiculous and it's sad. So VT, just check out DevSlopes. I mean, if you want to do computer science, that's fine. Okay, so you're in your last semester, and that's fine. But yeah, as soon as you have that bachelor's, come on over to DevSlopes, and we'll make sure to wrap up everything that college unfortunately didn't teach you in those all that time you spent there. But anyways, I mean, a computer science degree, it does teach you a lot of theory, which is great about how computers work. And it's really one thing to consider with a computer science degree. It is the science of computers that you're learning, not necessarily learn to code, but the science of computers. And a lot of people think that they need computer science degrees to learn how to code, but that's not really the way it works. They just go really long durations of time without hands on a keyboard. And consider this. Think about this. If you're learning a brand new language, okay, you're learning a foreign language, all right? Are you going to learn that language for 30 days and then take like 30 days off and do it for a couple of weeks and then take like 2 months off? No, that's not how we learn. When you're learning to code, you're learning a new language, a new way of writing, and a new way of thinking programmatically to solve problems. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it is critical that you get hands on a keyboard every single day. Yeah, so amen to all of that. Let's see. Someone, Creative John, is asking, why do you look different than the person in the TikTok videos? That's because I am a different person than the person in the TikTok videos. Connor is the dude in the TikTok videos. I'm Jason. I'm just a programmer and instructor and teacher. I teach web development. But yes, that is why we look different. And I can't grow facial hair nearly as good as Connor does. I pretty much suck at it. Like, this took me probably close to a month to do. This is as good as it gets, but I'm working on it. Let's see. What else do we have here from TikTok? And then YouTube, I'm going to get over here with some questions. Let's see. Is PHP essential in web development? Abdul, absolutely not. PHP is not essential at all. And here's the thing about web development. So there's so many programming languages for web development. Really, any language, there's so many languages, more or less. All right. And one of the things that you have to consider is, what kind of things do you want to build with software? All right. Do you want to do websites, web apps? Do you want to do iPhone apps, Android apps, machine learning, AI, blockchain, games, robotics? What do you want to do? And that right there, that choice that you make is going to determine the programming language that you learn. All right. PHP, there are jobs, okay, looking for developers, PHP developers. Be mindful that PHP is like a language that's 20 years old. There has been so many more languages that have come out that are, more efficient and still have loads of opportunity as a developer. Okay. So me personally, like, I've dabbled with PHP. This is just me personally. It's just a disgusting programming language. The syntax is absolutely terrible. I absolutely hate the way that it injects itself into the UI. So if you're building the back end, like, it just mixes in with the UI. And, best practices is to keep back end and front end code completely separate. All right. Because imagine this. Imagine that you're building this back end, but you've got an app for web, iOS, and Android. Well, if your backend is built in PHP and it's all bound to the client UI for web, well, then you've got to choose something else for the backend, for iOS and Android. Whereas if you chose another technology for backend, you can keep it 100%, separated, and you don't have to worry about mixing languages or mixing backend into the UI. All right. So PHP, yes, there's people still hiring for it. Me personally, there is so many better programming languages with much more pleasant syntax to work with and a lot more enjoyable. I wouldn't touch PHP with a 10-foot pole, but that's me personally. Context switching, we try to avoid in our workflow. It takes a lot of brain power for me personally. Yeah, I imagine it does. Mad Silly. What language would be the best for going past firewalls and back-end development? That's a really great question. I don't know. I've never really, are you talking about like ethical hacking? Like, what do you mean? And back-end development, You should choose the language based on the requirements. So for an example, me, I do web development, and usually uh, my go-to is Node. All right, because Node allows you to write JavaScript on the server. So I can do all my backend code in Node. And it's cool because being a web developer, I already know JavaScript. And so Node allows you to write JavaScript on the server. So I don't need to go and learn a new programming language like PHP or oh my gosh, I just forgot the other stuff, Java and whatnot to do backend. Okay, I can just use JavaScript. So it really depends on the requirements. Stephanie, hey, what's going on, Stephanie? Is the program remote online? Yes, it is. So Stephanie, it's really cool. The DevSlopes program is split into 16 different modules, each one progressively, getting more advanced. And so it's very incremental steps. And we teach the MERN stack as far as web development goes, Mongo, Express, React, and Node. So it's a full stack, program. And that's as the web development. And then at the end of each module, Stephanie, you'll turn in a final assignment, like a final project for that module. And then I'm going to personally review it. Okay. And I'm going to give you feedback on your code, whether you're following good practices. If I see any red flags, I'm going to let you know. So I will personally be reviewing your code and giving you feedback. And then not only will I help you, learn the ropes of learning to code, but I'm also going to work with you through the entire career prep process. All right. So as far as strategizing your resume, putting together your LinkedIn profile, how to work with recruiters and companies, negotiating salaries, technical interviews, all that preparation, I'm going to be helping you with that. So it's a really cool thing to have that type of mentorship and coaching. I'm a self-taught developer myself, and doing it on your own sucks. I did it all on my own. I didn't know any other programmers to ask questions to. This was back in 2016 when I first started, and I was so lost, and I wasted so much time going down rabbit holes, just learning crap that was irrelevant and didn't even help me as far as my skills to be successful in the industry. And so I learned a ton by trial and error. So that's one of the reasons why I enjoy teaching development so much, is because I've been in the trenches. And so I find a lot of joy helping students down a very clear, guided, curated learning path so they can be on the fast track. Bear in mind that learning to code takes time. All right. It's not some get rich quick, thing. It takes time. Okay. You got to invest time, and it's hard, but I will promise you this: it will change your life if you're consistent and you are persistent at it. All right. Let's see. Mad Silly. Let's see. So you're talking about hacking. Like if someone was to hack me, and would you know how to hack back and stop them? So that's called ethical hacking. I've never looked into it. I don't know what programming languages are used for that. I actually bought an ethical hacking course off of Udemy a couple of years ago, but I think I watched the first lesson, and that's as far as I got into it. I have no idea what language and whatnot they're using. All right. Um, okay, I'm gonna take some questions from YouTube, and then Instagram and Veggie Vampire. I'll just answer your question real quick here. You're asking, so how do you fight off outsourcing? What advice would you give? Let's see. What exactly do you mean by fight off outsourcing? Like, are you talking about? I don't know. I need a little bit more context about what you're talking about. So, Veggie Vampire, go ahead and let me know a little bit more what you mean. All right, YouTube. Let's go through some of these questions. What's the future of Informatica Power Center? I don't even know. Hold on. I think my dog just opened the door. Hi, Luna. You big girl. That's my dog. She's an 80-pound dog. I would lift her up and show you how adorable she is. She's an Australian sheepdog, but she's so big. All right. Anyways, let's get back on topic here. Let's see. Hello, Jason. A happy new month. Yes, Bill, is a new month. Wait, no, it's the 28th. Unless you're on the other side of the world, then sure, that is a new month for you. That's cool. Let's see. Just wanted to know how much you charge for the academy. I have no idea. I'm just an instructor and a programmer. I deal with nothing with the sales, marketing, pricing. It costs money. I do know that, and I do know that we have different financing options. That's all I know. But go to devslopes.com/apply, and then you'll be set up with a call, and you can ask all the questions you want about DevSlopes, the academy, how it works, the mentorship, and if it's a good fit for you, and then ask about all the different pricing options. But I have no idea. It's not my department. Chipper, let's see. Hey, we learned to code, but what should we specialize in? Specifically in data visualization, data analysis. What do we specialize in? Are you? I don't know if you're asking specifically. Oh. I don't know if you're asking specifically what DevSlopes specializes in, like when you learn web development, or if you're just learning what you specialize in general. So in web development, there is a lot of avenues that you can go, like you said, a data analyst and so forth. So as a web developer, you have to decide what type of things you want to build with software. So DevSlopes, we teach the MERN stack, which is building interactive UIs and web apps and websites. All right. So anything from websites to web apps. Okay. If you're looking more catered towards a data analyst or a data scientist, okay, Python is probably one of the most popular languages for that. And so you would learn Python and a slew of other programming languages to be specifically a data scientist or a data analyst. Okay. But here at DevSlopes, the MERN stack, websites and web apps, full stack. Let's see, Charles Shaver, what typing speed do you need to code? I'm a hunt and peck typer at this point. Charles, I think, all of us started that way at one point, hunt and peck, but you will very quickly learn how to type. Oh, shoot. I think we say like 40 words per minute is like what's recommended. But that's fairly easy, I don't want to say it's fairly easy, but there's a lot of free online like typing courses. We don't have typing courses here at DevSlopes, but take some online typing courses. Just, learn to use all 10 fingers and whatnot. And then get to about 40 words per minute. Otherwise, it's going to be a really slow process. That's the reality. And if you can't do 40 words per minute, then you're probably not ready to dive into programming, because programming is tons of typing, and it's just going to be really slow if you're, hunt and peck and typing one key at a time. So I would take the first step, get your typing speed up. You could probably do that in probably 2 weeks, and then and look into programming and stuff. Is Unreal Engine easy if I don't know much about coding? I've never personally used the Unreal Engine. I've used Unity 3D. I can't speak a lot to it. I'm sorry. I don't know. What's your thoughts on Solidity? Would you learn it? So drop in tonics. I have dabbled in Solidity. This was a couple of years ago when Solidity was still new and the documentation was still, hit and miss. The documentation sucked at the time when I was first diving into it. It's a very interesting programming language. Keep in mind, it's like brand new. It's its own unique, invented ball game. All right. I think it's cool if you want to do the whole smart contracts thing. There's a lot of different blockchain development you can do. So, for an example, a lot of blockchains that are popping up now are being built on top of JavaScript, which is awesome. And JavaScript, there is so much information out there. And in my experience, it is easier to learn JavaScript versus Solidity. I always recommend people wanting to get into blockchain development to start with web development, okay? Because web development covers everything, all right? And like I just mentioned, there's a lot of blockchains popping up in JavaScript. And once you learned web development, I would stick with that for a year. It is so easy to transition into the blockchain space, even if you wanted to pick up a Solidity, because the point is, once you've stuck with something for about a year, a single programming language, it's very easy to pick up other programming languages. It's really just a different syntax you're being introduced to, and there's a few different rules and everything associated to it. And since there is so much information and so much documentation on web development, like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and React, for just kind of example here, then I would dive into a blockchain after that, after you spent close to a year. Or, my opinion is, take it with a grain of salt. You can just learn Solidity. I mean, it's really up to you. It's really up to you. Do you think ETL developers have a future like Infor? Oh, you just asked me that, or Vic up top there. I don't know. I don't know. I haven't dived in or researched any of that stuff. Instagram, let's take some questions. Then TikTok, I'm going to get back to you. So stick around and leave some comments. All right, let's see what's going on here. TikTok, afternoon, what's going on? Let's see. I'm just trying to find a question here. A lot of people hopping on and stuff. If someone purchases a course in DevSlopes, do they get a refund or no? I think there's a small refund window. I don't know the details. I think maybe it's a week or 2 weeks and there's a refund. I don't know. Again, not my department. I'm just a programmer. That's all I do. I code and I teach code. But what I would do is go to devslopes.com/apply and then just get set up with a phone call and ask those questions. I'm just not prepared with those answers. Any discount in DevSlopes? I don't know. I don't know. What is or on Python programming, TS technical? So I think, so let's see. I don't have much of an opinion about it, but I will give you some factual information. All right. And maybe it will be helpful for you to kind of gauge your own deeper opinion about Python. All right. So here's some factual information. Okay. Python has a very broad general use purpose. You can use it for a lot of things like web development, game development, backend development, AI, machine learning. Okay. It doesn't mean that it's the programming language that solves, all human problems. Okay. There are better equipped programming languages actually for each one of those things that I listed for Python, except probably AI and machine learning. Python is the best choice for that. It's the most popular language for AI and machine learning. Having said that, Python is, a lot of people like it because it's so popular, and it's so popular because it covers so many different things. But here's one of the realities about Python, okay? So when I think about learning to code, I think about what type of things do I want to build with software, okay? That also means what kind of job opportunities are there with software. So the most popular job opportunities for a Python developer is going to be a data scientist and a data analyst, all right? If you want to do AI and machine learning, then the window narrows right up. Like that stuff is still gaining traction, but it doesn't have as broad of an opportunity as a data scientist or a data analyst. Okay, me personally, I have zero desire ever to be a data scientist or a data analyst, like zero desire. That's why I choose not to learn Python. In addition, if you want to be a data scientist or a data analyst, for an example, you need to know more than just Python. There is a slew of other libraries and frameworks that are associated with Python that you need to know. On top of that, a handful of other programming languages. I don't know those other languages off the top of my head, but if you get on Indeed or LinkedIn and look for Python developer, just look for the other common languages that are associated with all the positions. I don't know those off the top of my head, but you need to know far more than just Python to even get a job with it. If you're doing game development, again, as far as game developers for Python, there's not really much opportunity because companies are using the Unreal Engine or Unity 3D, or if they're building AAA games, they'd be doing something like C++. Right? So Python's great. It has a really awesome syntax to it. It's great for beginners, but don't waste your time learning a programming language just to learn it because somebody says it's the popular one or the best one. All right. Decide what you want to build with software and then learn that. Okay. So that is my factual information to you about Python. How can I practice front-end developer? Well, there's a lot of ways, Raja. Front-end development, I don't exactly know what you mean. Are you talking about web development, iPhone development, Android development, game development? There's a lot of front-end. But what I would do to practice it is once you've gone through tutorials, okay, and you've gotten the fundamentals, concepts of programming, then you've got to start building projects. And whatever programming language you're working in, just Google beginner projects for React developers, or beginner projects for iOS, or beginner projects for Android. All right. Just look at some beginner projects to get some ideas and take that idea and then build it. All right. Don't follow a tutorial, because the way that you learn to become a programmer is by thinking programmatically and solving your own problems. All right. Tutorials do not teach you how to think programmatically. All right. They don't teach you how to solve problems and how to find answers. All right. That comes with hands-on experience. So that's why just spend whatever time you need in tutorials and then step away and then get some projects, start building those, and then Google your solutions. All right. And you might come across a YouTube video to help build a very specific feature, and that's fine. You might find some other tutorials or articles. Hold on. Oh, my second monitor just went out. There it is. It's back. Anyways, you got to build projects to learn to think programmatically, and that's how you get good at development, front end or back end, doesn't matter. Let's see, where are you from? Well, you said, what are you from? Well, I am from my mother. I was born. If you're asking where am I from, I was originally born in Utah, but I live in southern Texas. I couldn't handle the snow anymore. I didn't like scraping ice off my windshield and driving in brown slush. I like the humidity out here, and I like my banana trees. That's right. I've got banana trees. Are these guys at the right live stream? Yes, anonymous someone. I'm streaming Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. So we've got 3 streams going on here. All right, I'm gonna take some questions from TikTok, and then we're gonna do one more cycle. We're about out of time here. Let's see, what do we have? Let's see. All right, here's all the questions. Okay, I was right here. So, Cypher, what is better between iOS, Android, and web developer? Well, I don't know, what do you mean? What is better? I think, which one is better is which one do you enjoy more? As far as salaries go, of those 3, iOS probably tops out at the most, then Android, and then web. All right. But I mean, any 3 of those programming languages, after 3 years in the field, you'll be making 6 figures or more with any of those, with web, Android, or iOS. I mean, I've seen salaries with iOS developers top out at, I don't know, 170-ish, around there. I've seen React developers for web top out around like 165, and Android, around the same. So as far as the cap, they're all pretty close. But whatever one's better is completely up to you. I thought when I first got into programming, I wanted to be an iPhone developer. So when I first started learning, I was learning iOS, or Swift technically, and I liked it. And then this other opportunity came by, and I fully immersed myself in web development, and I fell in love with it. And I liked it more than iOS, and I've stuck with web ever since. Do you like After Effects extension? I've never used it. What kind of... I've never used After Effects. Let's see. Could you code an Instagram viewbot? Probably. I've never tried. Veggie Vampire. A lot of large companies are outsourcing their programmers to other countries. Okay, Veggie. That makes sense. So, it really depends. So a lot of the developers I know, they're all in-house developers. And so here's one of the things, like outsourcing is great. And here in the US, it's cheaper to outsource developers. But one of the things that comes with that is like language barriers, and then like just time zones. And sometimes it doesn't line up. And sometimes it's easier for a product owner to just lean over the developer's shoulder and say, hey, we need to do X, Y, and Z, or can you change this around? Or I have an emergency, we need to do this and that. And so there's a lot of companies that have in-house developers. I used to work at Dell Computers as a full stack developer, and we had an in-house team of developers. And then we also had an outsourced team, an overseas team. I don't know if there's really any ways around it, but I know loads of companies are hiring in-house. What's better between, let's see, I answered that one. What's the hat? The hat, this is a Harry Mack hat. It's like a tongue twister here. Harry Mack is a freestyle rapper, and this is some of his swag. This is the hat, Harry Mack. I found that guy on YouTube like 2 years ago. I have never cared for rap in my life, like ever, ever. But then I ran across him. He's a freestyle rapper, and he just blew my mind. And he's just really, really entertaining. And so, anyways, Harry Mack, you guys should YouTube him. He freaking rocks. Do you have a blue pen? I do. Me personally, oh, I lost that question. Where did it go? Let's see. Me personally, okay, so Veggie Vampire. Me personally, I look at how I can automate some simple tasks. So I use hardware like Arduino. Is that how you pronounce it? Or Pi? Oh, that's cool. And the Arduino uses ++. That's cool. And Shell. Let's see. Okay, so you were wondering which one's better paying out of the iOS, Android, and web. Yeah. So iOS, Android are pretty neck to neck as far as salaries go. They're higher than web. Yeah, and then Veggie Vampire. At some point, it's not about pay and about cash flow. Yes. Your technical interview at Dell. It was good. So what's interesting is when I was applying at Dell Computer. So I'm a self-taught developer, and I had been programming for probably about 4 years before I applied to Dell Computers. So I had experience under my belt, right? And being a self-taught developer, like I had what's called imposter syndrome. Like I was like, when I applied and they were interested and got reached back out and says, yeah, let's set up a phone screening. I was like, wait, why would Dell ever like, consider me? I don't have a computer science degree. I'm self-taught. There's so many other people that could, code better than me. And it's because, it's just imposter syndrome. It's like Dell is this enterprise company, this huge corporation, and it was very intimidating. And what's crazy is when I applied to Dell, I had recently moved to Austin, Texas from California. And I had interviewed with probably 10 to 12 other places prior to Dell, and they all shut me down. So at this point, like my self-esteem is like tanking. It's like, why will nobody give me a job? Like I've been coding for 4 years. I know what I'm doing. I've coded some pretty cool stuff, some very complex things. And so when Dell, showed interest, I was like, they're not going to hire me, but whatever, I'll do the phone screening. It was interesting because Dell's interview process, I mean, it was pretty intense, but at the same time, I felt like it was a little bit, I don't want to say easier. It was still an intense interview, but maybe because I went in with the mindset like, oh, Dell's not going to hire me. I just, did my best, but was very casual and calm through the whole thing. But I did well. But the technical interview was pretty challenging. The coding challenges, I mean, they were fine. I've done a dozen of those, and I got through it all fine. And so there's living proof you can get a good job as a programmer without a computer science degree. Dell was flipping awesome. I loved working for that company. I was there for a couple of years. So anyways, Johnny, is a computer science and engineering degree the same as a computer science degree? I don't know. I didn't go to college. I just self-taught, and I've been coding for almost 7 years, and it turned out very well for me. And a lot of other people who don't have those degrees, but I really have no idea the difference because I've never looked into, going to college to learn how to code. Let's see. Right now, I would suggest the VR spectrum with how much Facebook is pushing VR. Yeah, it's definitely very interesting for sure. I'm curious about the adoption rate, how people will actually do it. Maybe people really do just want to sit on their couch all day and do nothing but hang out in a virtual world. Uh, for me, that is not. I could never do it. I have zero interest in it. I've got property here in Texas. I've got land to take care of, and so I just like to be up and about. I can't do that VR stuff. Any good books on Kotlin and Android? I don't know any off of the top of my head. I'm not an Android developer. I've got web development books I could suggest, but not Kotlin. All right. All right. I'm going to take one more question from each, and then we're going to wrap this up. All right. I'll take two from YouTube. Let's see. Is it pronounced Donat? Donat? Why is Mark not live streaming anymore? Because Mark is doing CEO stuff. He doesn't have time for these. Someone else says, I have a question. When do you think the programming field will be filled with coders? Because people are coming from everywhere to learn from internet while engineers have to learn from college. So I think there's going to be a massive need for developers forever. All right. The thing is, here's a statistic. I can't remember where I pulled this up. Like 2% to the entire world knows how to code. That's it. 2%. All right. And you think about the day and age that we live in. We are in the tech. Everything we do includes and revolves around technology. When you get in your car and you press the little unlock button, guess what? Somebody programmed that to unlock your car. All those little sensors in your car that tell you when a tire's flat or steering wheel's, off alignment, somebody programmed that, okay? So everything from cars to us streaming right now, there needs to be a team of developers on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube to maintain the application, to handle the traffic, and then also to develop new features. I mean, everything we do is technology, all right? And so there is always a need for developers. I cannot see developers ever vanishing. Like, this is what the world runs on. And to be honest, there is not enough developers to fill the job positions. Like, there is a massive need for developers and not enough developers to fill those demands. Robert, I'm 40, prior military, and just getting started. Am I wasting time? Thanks. No, Robert, absolutely not. So in the DevSlopes Academy, we've actually got people with military backgrounds. We've got people who work at Walmart. We've got band instructors, that teach high school band. We've got all walks of life, truck drivers, everybody, and they're here learning to code. And we have ages, I think our youngest student is around 16. I would say most people are mid-20s, but we have, actually, no, I would say actually closer to 30 is probably the average age of most the students that I help, but all the way up to 55. This guy, about a year and a half ago, joined. He was 55, and it's so cool. So he was doing our iOS program, learning iOS development. Just late last year, he landed his first job as an iOS developer. So he's been in the academy for about a year, and at 55 years old, December of last year, he landed his first iOS job. So no, Robert, you are not wasting your time. 40 is not too old. I got into programming late 20s and whatnot. There's a need for programmers, and you should do it. All right, everybody. I can't answer all of these questions. I apologize. I got stuff I got to do. I'm about 15 minutes over. But anyways, thank you, everybody, for joining today's stream. Again, I'm Jason with devslopes.com. I'm a full stack developer, and DevSlopes is a learn to code company. If you would like to work with me to learn how to code, that would be super cool. I'd be stoked out of my mind to help you learn, and then also walk with you through the career prep process to help you land a job and get paid. So go to devslopes.com/apply, all right, to get set up with your call and just ask questions, just speak about it, and see if DevSlopes is a good fit for you. If not, that's cool. No big deal. All right. So until next time, everybody, stay safe, stay positive, and keep coding. Adios.